Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it? You already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Orale, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeedy, I'm about to write some graffiti on this bus, right? What I wanted to talk about is taking flight. That's it. Everybody, and I mean everybody, takes flight, indubitably. In a menudo style in a direct fashion, why wouldn't you? You know, if you're following a group faction, if you're part of a group organization, you're part of a cause, then you need to take flight on sight, right? And not every time, but most times. I remember being in Tracy Prison, 2006, and we had people on site. Now in Tracy Prison, that was our reception. It was Merced's backyard. So we were doing our thing, and in menudo fashion, right? And what they did was they kept us separated. They kept us separated. At that time, I was active. I was a functioning norteño. I was a striving ass norteño. And what they did was they kept us separated from individuals such as Southern Mexicans or degenerates, Northern Riders, things of that nature. So I said, you stay over there? I said, we'll stay over here. We're going to do ours. You do you. And that's pretty much how it was. Now, we were just coming off a lockdown with the whites, sprinkle them in, with the woods on Paru. The woods and the norteños were getting off for a long time. And it was about an 8 to 9 month lockdown situation. And they had just recently lifted the lockdown, and I was transitioning in from the calles to do a 4-year bid. And so I was, hey, the wind was blowing and I was right there, you know. So I was getting the quick rundown on what was going on previously to me getting there. I know Flaco from Milpas was there at that time. So he could pretty much tell the extensive story of what led up to that with the Wolf Pack, who was basically a clique off the woods. They were a group organization that was doing their thing. They were wiggling. There was a body that got dropped on the yarda and Sasuke beep, beep, boop, 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 so on and so forth. So we were on site with the white boys, but it was transitioning to coming off. They were keeping us separated, only popping certain cells at certain times. But Sasuke, just like any place, mistakes happen. The placos can be everywhere at the same time, but Sasuke, where they were not in position to be where they should be. Orale, read between the lines. Can you decipher that? I can. Menudo. So being in certain situations like that, you always have to keep your head on swivelization, because when you're being and you see vatos in the town and know they're gonna put it down, you already know what it is. Every different group will handle their business. We're talking about Africanos, Jama, Kumi, Crips, Bloods, Simon, on Paru, the Sangres will handle their fucking business quick, first and foremost. I know that at that time of me being in Tracy, the Norteños and the Crips were pretty much the deepest. A lot of vatos from townhomes, 44G, stand up, recognize and respect, man. Stockton, California, 209 district, don't get it twisted. They were doing their thing. The Crips from the 209 area were thick. You know, like I said, it's our reception, our backyard. If you go up to San Quentin, being the reception for the Bay Area, you're going to have a lot of Kumi, a lot of Jama. You're definitely going to have a lot of Norteños, and white boys, sprinkle them in. Sprinkle them in. The Bay Areans are real. But there were certain group segments we already knew automatically they were on site. Now, I never once seen a Southern Mexican in Tracy until I went on the other side, and then it was different. So I was still, bam, they were there, beep, boop, 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 50-50 shit. And it was what it was. But there was never no Southsiders to be seen. They all had them in different buildings, separated. Why? Not because they were some sokas or some punches. That's definitely what they weren't, right? But they kept them separated because it was on and cracking. It just seemed like in reception was different. You know, once you hit a linea, everybody was everybody, and it was a respect thing. But right there in reception, it wasn't not a respect. It was always a respecting, but Sasuke at the same time, it was definitely an on-site thing. Now, I was taught from a young age from the youth authority about on-site. Get off where you're mad at. One jump, all jump. There were certain rules and regulations that the Norteños pushed, you know, we adhered to. And it was a mandatory thing. No one even had to tell us. Sasuke, I don't even remember someone telling me one jump, all jump. I already knew. I said, you gonna jump? Oh, well, see, because the way that my bank account works, sometimes I can't jump today. Well, guess what? You ain't gonna fucking jump tomorrow. Sass, because I'm gonna get off where I'm mad at, and then I'm gonna come back for you. I'm gonna double back on that ass, right? I mean, that's just how it was. Okay, but without taking too much for granted, I expected the homeboys to back my play just like I would back their play. That was actual and factual. That was gonna happen. And there was plenty of instances where there were certain groups that we were on site with. Now, I know myself, personally, there was a group called Pico Rivera, and they had me on site. Okay, they had me on site because one of their homeboys had got out of Nixon, which was a a compa in Nellis, and I took flight on him, and I guess he was somebody at that time. I didn't know who he was. To what degree of somebody, I still don't know, but I know that he was well respected within that group, within that gang, and by me taking flight on him, that put an all-point bulletin on my ass. Sasuke, green light, red light. Sasuke was no red light. It was all green light. It was all push forward, forever forward on me. So everywhere I went, any type of vato that I seen had I don't care if the vato's last name was Rivera. I took flight because I already knew they were going to get off on me, and they did. Left and right and right and left. In and out and out and in. What are the vatos were fucking just trying to come for my head, right? And Sasuke, I wasn't going out like no poop butt. I was handling my business on Paru, right? So that was probably my first taste of on-site. When one group has you on site, so you don't know what to do. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? I had homeboys that were there. They'd be like, let me walk in front of you. Why? You got my back? Not Charlie, because the mother got you on side. And I don't want to get hit from the side. Exactly. You know what I mean? You feel me? You understand me? You see where I'm coming from? Anyways, I did what I had to do. Now, going into Merced County Jail as I got older, I realized that everybody was on site. We had the block. We had the block, which was active Norteño block. And if you weren't with us, you were against us. You were pretty much against the grain. One time, and I'll say only one time, did I ever see anyone function alongside the Norteños, and that was one Asian from MOD who actually found himself, because he had a crime partner that was a Norteño, functioning on the block. The block has even asked him, hey, do you want to be moved to the general population block? This is active Norteños. Things are different over here. He said, Charlie, I'll stand where I stay. And ordered 10 toes down to the concrete. That motherfucker was getting his burpee on. I think about the third batch of 122s was when he almost said, what the fool, and tapped out. But he continued to strive, man, and he was well respected. He participated in everything from the Gallo to the program shutdown time. Everything was good in the hood, man. He was embraced. The canalismo was there, and that gained a better and a greater respect for the Asians to the Norteños that were in there. I always have respect to the Asians, because anyone that knows them Asians, they wiggle differently. So I was getting a Uzi fashion. Bang, bang. The first time I ever seen a Uzi was with the Asian. I'll tell you that story in a different day. But anyways, so I pretty much knew. I was indoctrinated as a youngster to know what on-site meant. Okay? And I knew that every different group faction, whether it be the whites, the Southsiders, the Bulldogs, or the Fresno Bulldogs, everybody would do their thing. Now, you take a fucking gang and a group like the Bulldogs, an organization, right? A pretty rebellious organization that has went against the grain in the past and have so much internal confliction amongst their own because there is no hierarchy. There is no structure there. There is no answer tos. There is no such, hey, trip out. This is what we're going to do today. Charlie Holmes, they do what they does, cuz. And it just be like that sometimes, right? So there was never no, you couldn't figure them out. Put it like that. You just knew that if you seen a Bulldog, period, plain and simple, get them. Got to get them gutters, right? We got to get them because they'll get you. That was a fact. You know, they'll come off the bus, so let's get laced up and ready, and so let's get shoes tied and pedazos in their asshole, and then they'll just get off. And so you had to make your first move, your next move, your best move, because that's just what it was when it came to the Bulldogs. And it continues to be like that, you know. Now with this into hostilities and different things and truces and coming together and a lot more canalismo on the yardas, I'm sure people have put a slight halt, a slight red light to what traditionally was on site in certain places. Now, I knew as a Norteño that if I got transferred down south, Centinela, Calipatria, Chino Prison, certain institutions, certain places where I knew I was out of bounds, where I knew, so I was scared we was up show, right? I knew I had to get off fast. That means it was an on-site situation. That means R&R, here I come, I said, I was going to get off in R&R right when I got there. Actual and factual. I knew that if I got to a degenerate yard being an active Norteño gang member, that I had a certain amount of time to get off, which was at that time 72 hours in Sasuke. I did not milk any part of that 72. I got off within the first half hour because Sasuke, if you get there about to start realizing who you are, you're active and you function, right? And you're going to get off, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to get off first. And that's the worst mistake people say. Remember when you were little? Hit me, no hit me, no hit me, bitch, I'll hit you, right? Sasuke, because that first hit could be the last hit. You take one by the first one, you might get one by the last one, right? And that's it. It's done. One and done. I learned that a long time ago, Sasuke. My jaw still hurt from that shit. Anyways, the on-site word is frequently used and thrown around. Hey, we got them vatos on site, eh? Right? Well, Sasuke, what about when Pee-wee hit the yard? He didn't do nothing. Well, we didn't have him on site then. Sasuke, so 10 minutes later, does that mean something? Yeah. Well, wait, so what do you mean? Right? Well, they call me Pee-wee. You know what I mean? Orale, you know what I mean? Pee-wee ain't trying to do nada. You know what I mean? 10 minutes later, it's on site, and Sasuke, Pee-wee's locking it up. That's how it be. Like, a lot of people don't like that on-site issue because that means you have to do something. See, there's a lot of people that go to the penitentiary, go to prison, And they're just trying to walk on by. Orderly. They're just trying to break up to make up, right? They're just trying to get by, slide to the left, to the left, now slide, right? They're just trying to fucking do what they does because they're trying to get on by and make the time as easy as possible. Now, I understand that situation. I've been there and I've done that, right? You don't want to get caught up in situations because things can happen. Bodies could drop. You could be implemented in what happened or implicated in what happened. So it's okay, he's the one that did it. And why are you telling us? So it's okay, on site. You know what I mean? I'm seeing you. It's here on him. On site. See? Right? So people will do different things. They have different tactics. Okay. Do I condone the on-site word? Charlie, but is it a necessary evil? Yes, absolutely. Just like to kill is a cruel necessity, but if one does not kill, how can one conquer? And if one does not conquer, what future is there for our people? That is an evil, a necessary evil. Okay. Sometimes violence has to be handled in prison. Prison is a violent place. It's a different world. It's a different planet. If you get my drift, right? So things have to happen that not necessarily would happen on the calles. You see a motherfucker you don't like, and it could be on site. So when I see you, motherfucker, bitch ass motherfucker, it's on site. You know what I mean? My old lady was giving you all kinds of man moans and shit. So you pushed on her butt. It was good though. I felt soft. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I got it like that. Anyways, that was from hit. I wore it out. You know what I mean? So I softened it all up. That's called tenderizer, right? And then all of a sudden, in a menudo style direct fashion, you're over there at my old lady's house, beating that meat, right? So I'm mad. It's on site. Then when you see them, it's like, yeah, you're lucky, Holmes. You're lucky you was with 3 homeboys. You know what I mean? Or it'd have been on site, right? Straight up. People are going to do what they does. Okay? Whatever works for them. But I have been in certain situations where it is on site and motherfuckers adhere to it. Motherfuckers make it happen. Period. Plain and simple, right? A lot of different situations. Now, I think the group that does the most when it comes to the on-site, and I'm going to keep it real, man. Everybody will get you. Everybody will get you. But the group that I say that continues to be on site or has been on site for several decades and continues to handle their business is the Fresno Bulldogs. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, good, you give them too much respect, too much love. I just tell the truth. I'm just telling the truth. I'm telling the absolute truth. The Bulldogs will get off where they're mad at. They'll fucking get off where they'll just get off. Just to get off, right? And you got to understand, man, when they're a group that's hated by everybody, that's what they're expected to do. Not the expectation by their big homeboys, because they don't have big homeboys like that. The expectation of oneself, his safety and security. You know, if they want to protect themselves, they better fucking get off so they can go to the oil, so they hit a new yada with some homeboys so they can program, function, eat cantina, get a visita, a little mamon if they can't slide one through without the CO scene. And the winner is, or the Arby's, right? And that's just what it be like. Now, when it comes to the Norteños, it's a very strict rules and regulation type process, right? The politics are real. If a fucking group is on site one day, it's all to the fullest, man. It's full go. Run up in the motherfucking blocks, handle it in the sales house, get program office, shit don't matter. Order the chow hall, motherfucking visiting. Order the don't disrespect no one's familia. That could start something different, right? But there's certain things that can happen and will happen fast when it comes to the norte. The Sur as well. They ain't playing. Oh, you think they're playing? Oh, you didn't know? The Sur don't play, right? They'll handle their business fucking fast. And there's so many of them, they'll throw waves at you, you know, allegedly. Anyways, Africano brothers, man. Not necessarily on site thing, but if they just don't like you, they'll hit you. And that's what it is, man. You know, their politics are not as structured as, say, the Mexicanos, Chicanos, Latinos. But at the same time, man, don't sleep on the brothers, man. The brothers will smash your whole shit in, right? Period. When it comes to guerra, when it comes to wartime, man, every group will handle it. The whites, that's without being said. Orderly, look at my fucking funny hat. Okay, look like I'm gonna go mow 2 lawns, huh? Just already mowed 1. Why not? Why not do another? You know what I mean? The whites will handle their business. Whites are a little bit more structured over the years. You know, in the beginning, man, they were a little loose doing their thing on them yardas. But as time prevailed and as time passed by, and certain minds started to pick the brains of vatos from down south, then they started to gravitate towards a more structured grouping, the way that they handle their business. So the on-site shit is real. Now, the word on-site, what does it mean? It means if you see them, you're on site, right when you see them, okay? Now, I understand in certain situations you can't get to a motherfucker, right? That's on you. That's on, if the motherfucker's on the other side of the yard and he is on site, guess what? You need to run your punk ass on the other side of that yard and handle that business. Okay, because if not, you're going to have some explaining to do, right? Not explaining. Word of the day, explaining. You're going to have some explaining to do. And let me tell you what the explaining goes. Let me tell you how it goes. Let me give you a scenario, right? It's just casina vato. Poop butt ass motherfucker. He's on the other side of the yard, though. So, you know, we can't go on that other side of the yard. So I knew it was at that point that, you know, I couldn't adhere to the on-site. Well, they're going to be like, oh, is that right? right? Well, guess what? We're going to have 3 motherfucking hitters on you in the next yarda on site, right? And they don't give a fuck if you're on the roof. They're going to climb that motherfucker con un ladder or one rope with a gaffle. They're climbing, right? Vatos will get to you one way or the other. That's what is expected of you as a soldado, as a functioning part of that manpower of that casa. That is what is expected. On site means simply this, on fucking site. Now, I've told the story before when I got to Fred C. Nellis, man, and there was that motherfucker that I thought spit in our food. Did he? I don't know. Can't call him like an alcoholic. But I told myself in my mind, when I see him the next time, it's on site. Okay? When he walked through those doors, fuck, man, I just got off work. I'm tired. Rushed him on site. Why? And I told the homeboy, I think I told one homeboy. It might have been the homeboy Puerco from Sonjo. Hey, I'm going to get off on this fool. He said, why? Because he's on site. That's it. Right? All right. Boom. And I handled my business on site. Okay? There's been certain situations where there was guys in the school area when I was locked up in YA that had us on site. Man, they had all Norteños on site, certain compas, or even other Southerners had each other on site. You know, Playboys, Florencia, 18th Street, they used to have each other on site getting off where they were mad at. Of course, another notorious group that I seen that were always on site, and I mean, pobrecita, the wind's blowing. I feel so bad for these individuals, were the Asians. Not necessarily all the Asians, but the TRGs to be exact. And in fact, the Tiny Rascal Gangsters, man, god damn, them motherfuckers was with the program, right? There was actually a verde on them, a green light, I said, right? Coming from, you know, the city of Long Beach, as well as the surrounding area. That Vato couldn't go nowhere. So they couldn't, damn, I can't do shit around here. No, not if you're a TRG. I mean, it went as bad as if a Vato had a TRG tattoo on him, they were taking flight. And it was on site. Any Asian that walked through the doors of that compound, the Southsiders were on them like pit bull terriers. Or where you from, mister? You know what I mean? MOD, all right. Let me see your tattoo. They were doing tattoo checks and everything, butt naked and turn around. You know what I mean? Rocky don't smoke and Rocky don't joke. Rocky bust a cap like a killer. They were getting off where they were mad at. Facts. So in prison, in YA, there's no difference. On-site means on-site. Now, of course, in prison, it's going to be a little bit more respectful. There's things called half 60, soft defensive stances, where people will stop, you know, stand back and let other motherfuckers do what they do just out of respect. And that's just the wiggle. You know, there was parts of Pelican Bay, parts of Corcoran Prison, where actually North and South did have each other on fucking, you know, if the doors crack, man, let them do them. We do us, man, take a soft defensive stance. As long as the motherfucker doesn't approach, it's all good. Now, of course, that was called a hold your ground, right? Hold your ground meaning, fuck, you stand up, you're prepared, you're ready for whatever. See, we can get it on, homie, in any type of weather. You know what's fucking on, right? But at the same time, you don't get off where you're mad at because there was a respecting there. That's what the Placas wanted you to do. Remember, the canine are the #1 enemiga. It's not that other vato that looks just like you with the LA tattooed on his face or a big old huelga bird on his face. Huelga, right? It's not him. That's your enemy. Yes, he might be the enemiga in some sense, but their #1 enemy is always going to be the canine. They are the one oppressing the people, holding the people down. The man with the key is the one that's dangerous, not the one with the lock. Bam, unless it's in the socks. So I could tell you about that one too, right? Anyways, with that being said, you know, that's what on-site means. Every group segment has went through the motions. Every group segment has somebody on site, even at this point right now, even with the end of hostilities. There's some motherfuckers they have on site. The actives have the non-actives on site. The non-actives, well, I don't know if they have the actives on site, but they'll probably get off just because for self-preservation. And that's just what it is. Me, myself, I'm a grown man. I'm a brown man, right? And what I have on site, Sasuke, is pussy. If I see it, it's on site. I'm trying to get it, right? If she says no, well, then I guess I don't get it that night, right? I ain't R. Kelly. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about struggling, striving, and hustling for your familia, man. On site, go out there, get up, get your lazy ass nephew up. You know, the one that's sleeping on your couch? Get his punk ass up and throw him out there to pick tomates. It's what it is, right? Lechuga, tomate, camotes, whatever the fucking case may be. My Spanish is fucked up. ¿Sabes qué? Just blame me, right? Anyways, with that being said, go out there and get it for your familia. Only you can do it, you know what I mean? And don't be having motherfuckers on site if you ain't political like that, man. Just go do you, man. If you see a motherfucker that you're mad at, get off. Fuck it. It is what it is. With that being said, go out there and do that, man. And if you like this, please hit that like and subscribe. If not, and most of you don't, right? You can hit that thumbs down, heavy as the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in, which is the unity of all people. I'm just giving you a little knowledge you definitely can't get in college, a little game where the lane won't give it to you. You know what I mean? The gun will, though. Bang, bang, menudo. And in that motherfucking direct fashion.